Admiral Thex of the Galactic Confederation stared at the hologram displaying the human delegation. His 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of extreme anxiety among his species. "You cannot be serious," he said. Captain James Ellis of the Earth Defense Force folded his arms across his chest. His expression remained neutral, but there was something different in his stance now. Gone was the slight stoop he'd affected at previous meetings. Gone was the careful modulation of his voice to avoid startling the Mithrani delegates with their sensitive hearing. He stood tall, shoulders squared, looking every bit the apex predator that humans truly were. "We've been serious all along, Admiral," Ellis replied. "You simply weren't listening." The Galactic Confederation had welcomed humans to their assembly 7 years ago with both fascination and trepidation. Humans came from what xenobiologists classified as a death world, a planet with high gravity, extreme temperature variations, toxic flora, dangerous fauna, and natural disasters that would render most sentient species extinct within a generation. The fact that humans not only survived, but thrived on such a planet made them biological anomalies. For 7 years, humans had played nice. They stooped to fit through doorways designed for shorter species. They filed down their naturally sharp canines. They wore scent dampeners to avoid overwhelming sensitive alien olfactory organs. They moved slowly in public spaces to avoid triggering prey instincts in species that evolved to flee from fast-moving predators. But all that changed when the Zoraxian Empire, the Confederation's long-standing enemy, attacked the human colony on Proxima Centauri b. "The treaty negotiations are over," Ellis said. "The Zoraxians had their chance for peace." Admiral Thex's translator struggled to keep up with his agitated chirping. "But your proposed response is disproportionate. It would destroy half their fleet." "Half their fleet attacked our colony," replied Commander Anna Reed, standing beside Ellis. Like her captain, she had abandoned the carefully cultivated mannerisms of the past. Her smile revealed teeth that seemed sharper than Thex remembered. 3,000 civilians dead. Children, Admiral. The word hung in the air. The concept of extended childhood vulnerability was relatively rare in the galaxy. Most species either matured quickly or kept their young segregated in protected nurseries. Humans, with their prolonged dependency period and strong familial bonds, had been deemed somewhat primitive upon first contact. Now Thex understood it was something else entirely. The human delegation requests immediate withdrawal of all Confederation peacekeeping forces from the Proxima Centauri system, Ellis continued. "We will handle this ourselves. But the treaty stated that humans would abide by Confederation protocol so long as our colonies remained protected," Reed interrupted. "You failed in that obligation." Thex sputtered, his exoskeleton clicking in distress. "The Zoraxian attack was unexpected. We had no intelligence." "We warned you 6 months ago," Ellis said, his voice deadly quiet. "Our sensors detected Zoraxian scouts at the edge of the system. You dismissed our concerns as human paranoia." Behind Ellis and Reed stood the rest of the human delegation. 12 men and women who had previously appeared so accommodating, so eager to fit into galactic society. Now they all stood differently, moved differently. One was casually tossing and catching a stylus with reflexes too fast for Thex's eyes to track comfortably. Another was drumming fingers in a rhythm that seemed designed to unsettle. "The Confederation. Council requires time to discuss this development," Thex said, trying to regain control of the situation. Ellis checked his watch, an archaic human habit that he'd never bothered to abandon. "You have 12 hours. After that, the human fleet moves on the Zoraxian position regardless of the Confederation's stance." "But you have only 17 ships," Thex protested. "The Zoraxians have over 200 in that sector alone." For the first time in the meeting, Ellis smiled. It was not the careful, closed-mouth smile that humans had used in diplomatic settings. This was something else, a baring of teeth that his ancestors might have displayed before a hunt. "You've never actually seen our ships fight, have you, Admiral?" 3 hours later, the Confederation's intelligence director burst into Thex's office, waving a data pad frantically. "The humans," Director Lore gasped. "They've been hiding their true capabilities all along." Thex took the pad with trembling hands. The intelligence was damning. Human ships that had been registered as cargo vessels were actually heavily armed. Their defensive shields were 3 times stronger than reported. The casual exercise routines humans performed in standard gravity were enough to crush most species' skeletal structures. Their hearing range, reaction time, endurance, all had been deliberately understated in official records. Most disturbing of all, humans could actually survive in hard vacuum for nearly 2 minutes without protection. They'd classified this as emergency survival time in their medical records, as if it were a last resort rather than a tactical advantage. They're not just Deathworlders, Lore whispered. They're apex Deathworlders, and we've made them angry. 12 hours later, the human fleet departed Earth's orbital station. They had not waited for the Confederation's response. 10 hours after that, the first reports came in from the Proxima Centauri system. The Zoraxian invasion force, those ships that hadn't been destroyed outright, was in full retreat. Admiral Thex watched the battle footage with his command staff in stunned silence. Human ships moved with impossible speed and precision. Human Marines boarded enemy vessels through breaches so small that the Zoraxians hadn't considered them tactical vulnerabilities. The human captain had even sent a brief message to the Zoraxian commander before the engagement began. We were never pretending to be weak. We were pretending to be like you. As the footage ended, one of Thex's junior officers spoke up hesitantly. Do you think they'll come back to the Confederation after this? Now that we know what they truly are? Thex considered the question carefully before answering. They'll come back, he said finally, but we'll be the ones adapting to them from now on.